Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So, being that it's summertime, I feel like it was only right to give you guys a summertime story time. So yeah, another one for my pretties. Okay, I'm done. So, okay, yeah, so let's just roll into the video, right? So this story takes place back when I was 16. So around this time, I was dating a guy named Malik, right? That's not his real name, but we're just going to give him a fake name, Malik. So I also had a friend named Tiara. So me and Tiara, we became friends in middle school, and then she ended up like moving away. But like even though she moved away, we still kept in contact by like social media, texting each other all the time, and talking on the phone. So a few months before school ended, now in high school. So a few months before school ended, she hit me up and said that her and her immediate family were coming back to the city for the summer. And she wanted me to ask my mom if she could stay with us, like just her. So her immediate family, like they were gonna stay with like I believe her grandparents on her mom's side, but they were more so in the country part, and then I lived in what still country but more so like city than country basically. So of course I asked my mom, and my mom was like heck no. Like she was like no, that she could come and stay for a few days, but she definitely did not want her staying the whole summer or anything like that. And back then I was basically a rebel. Like I pretty much did what I wanted. Like rules didn't stop anything for me. Like back then my whole mindset was like rules were always meant to be broken. So of course I relayed the message to Tiara, like, hey, my mom said that you can come and stay for a few days, but she definitely doesn't want you staying like the whole summer or anything like that. And even though I told her that, it was pretty much understood between me and Tiara that she was gonna stay for the whole summer anyway. Like, it was pretty much understood. So I ended up meeting Malik through Tiara, right? So back in middle school, Tiara had, I want to say, a friend, right? So you know how like your best friend or your friend, they have like other friends and stuff like that, right? So this girl was one of Tiara's other friends. Now me and the girl, like we were more so cordial. Like she was more friends with Tiara than she was with me. So Malik is that girl's older brother. So that's how Malik and Tiara knew each other. And then I ended up being introduced to Malik through Tiara. So around this time, me and Malik's relationship, it wasn't really new, but we weren't fully like we our relationship was out there, but just to the people that were around us and the people that we would basically hang out with. And it was like that because Malik had another girlfriend. So when I met Malik, he already told me that he had a girlfriend, so I was fully aware. And then I was pretty much his other girlfriend, his side chick, whatever you want to call it. So one day, me and Tiara, we're sitting outside chilling at night like we usually would do. Now, when we would chill like at night, like we would trying to figure out like what moves is going on, where we finna go, if there's like a party we finna go see, if we're finna go chill with some boys, like stuff like that. So back then, oh, I lost my train of thought. So this night in particular, me and Tiara, we're sitting outside and we're chilling, right? So I ended up getting a text from Malik, and he was like, hey, can my friend come stay with you for a little bit? Like, could you ask your mom? And I was like, what friend? Like, who? And we're gonna call this girl Imani. So he was like, her name is Imani. She was living in Baltimore, but she came down here for the summer. But I guess like he was like that she was staying at her people's house, and then she ended up getting kicked out of their house, and she's been sleeping on like park benches, sleeping outside ever since she got kicked out. So, of course, I was like, well, oh, and we're gonna give her a fake last name too. So let's just say her last name's Johnson. So I was like, Imani Johnson, and he was like, yeah, would you know her? And I'm like, oh yeah, I went to middle school with her. Like me and Tiara went to middle school with her. Like she's real cool. You feel me? Like we never had any issues with her, basically. So then Malik was like, all right. Well then, if you know her and you cool with her, like, can you ask your mom if like she can come stay with y'all for a little bit? Just until like she can find somewhere else for her to go. So I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So of course I asked my mom, and once again my mom was like, no. She was like, no, I had already told you I don't want Tiara staying here. You done got her up in here, and now you want to bring another one of your little friends up in here. I already told you no. So then I told my mom, I was like, well, I mean, she been sleeping outside. She got kicked out of her people's house. Like the girl don't got nowhere to go. Like she been sleeping at the park. So my mom, she was like, well, she can come and she can stay for a few days, honey. She used to always say that. But she was like, she can come and she can stay here for a few days, but after that, like, she gotta go. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I ended up texting Malik back, and I told him that. I was like, hey, my mom said that she can come stay for a few days and then she has to leave. So Malik was like, all right, bet, like, I'm gonna give her your number so that she can hit you up, and then like y'all two can like, talk to each other and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. So he does exactly that. Imani, she ends up hitting me up. And of course, right off the bat, she was very appreciative, saying thank you, like, thank you for asking your mom to let me stay there. I won't be there for long. I just need to figure out, like, basically figure out what she was gonna do. Like, if she was gonna go back to Baltimore, or if she was gonna, I guess, try to stay there or find someone else to stay with. Like, I don't know. So, and then of course she ended up giving me the rundown for her situation, pretty much the same thing that Malik told me about how she had came down from Baltimore, how she got kicked out, and all this stuff like that. So shortly after that, Imani comes walking up, and she has like a bag with her, right? And I assumed that, like, her clothes and her toiletry items and everything like that was in her bag. So we seen each other, she gave me a hug, still very much appreciative, very nice girl. Tiara spoke to her, and like she said hi and all that, but I don't think Tiara really cared for her too much, and y'all are gonna see why. So back then I shared a room with my sister, but okay, how do I explain this? So I shared a room with my sister, and then my little brother had his own room. But my little brother, he would always sleep with my mom. Like, he would sleep in the room with our mom. So because of that, when he would sleep with her, I would go and I would sleep in his room, right? Especially during this time, during the summer, because Tiara was there. So me and Tiara, we took Imani in the house. I introduced her to my mom and everybody, and then we took her upstairs to my brother's room where we were all sleeping, so that she can put her stuff down. So my mom would go to sleep around the same time every night, like 9:30, 10 o'clock p.m. And when she would go to sleep, I would sneak Malik in. So same thing that night, like I did every night. So my mom goes to sleep, I sneak Malik in. So at first, I was kind of skeptical about Imani and Malik's whole, like, friendship. At first I was like, oh, is this really his friend? Is this a girl that he used to talk to? Or, like, what's really going on between them two? But after that first night of Imani being there, and then her hanging out with me, Malik, and Tiara, like, it was pretty much cool, basically. Like, neither one of them gave me any type of red flags. There was no type of suspicions. Like, at that point, I was just like, okay, well, they're obviously just really good friends. So maybe I just need to lighten up a bit. Like, you feel me? Maybe I just need to lighten up. So, and most of the time when I would sneak Malik in, and he would like come over and we would chill and stuff like that, Tiara was not with us all the time at night, because she had, how do I explain it? She had dudes that she was talking to, dudes she was dealing with, stuff like that. And she had she didn't have a boyfriend, but she had one dude in particular that whenever he would call, she would go, right? So sometimes she would be with him at night. Sometimes she would stay and chill with me and Malik. Sometimes she would go spend the night at spend the night at that dude's house, and then she would come back like in the morning, stuff like that, right? So, but this night she decided to stay in. So all of us were in the living room chilling, watching TV. And we pretty much did the same thing every night. We would chill, watch TV. Of course, Malik would be hungry, so I would like cook for him, make him something to eat. And then if I'm cooking for him, I might as well go ahead and cook for like Tiara and Imani, like stuff like that, because they're my guests. So this night in particular, when it's time to go to bed, we all go upstairs to my brother's room. So me and Malik, we sleep in the bed, and then Tiara and Imani, they sleep on the floor, but they sleep, so it's like at the foot of the bed, but on the floor, like by the wall. So I gave them some blankets and some pillows, and they made themselves a little pallet on the bed, pretty much. I mean, not on the bed, sorry, on the floor, right? Oh, and by the way, so my mom, like, not only would she go to sleep at the same time every night, but she would also wake up at the same time every morning. So she would wake up around 5:30 a.m. and it didn't matter whether it was like the weekend or the weekday, like she would just always wake up around this time. So when she would wake up, like I would have my alarm set for like 5 a.m. And then when I would hear her in the shower, I would wake up Malik, tell him, that my mom is awake now, so he has to leave. And he would sneak out the window. Because so where we lived in it was an apartment, but it kind of sort of looked like a townhouse, if that made sense. So where my brother's room was, when he would go out the window, we had like a shed kind of, so he would go out the window, like jump onto the shed and then like climb down, and that's how he would leave every morning. I know it sounds complicated, but that's how he would leave every morning. So that morning, same thing, wake him up, we walk over to the window, he gives me a kiss and says, "I'll see you later." I'm like, "All right, bet," and he would leave. So because Malik had another girlfriend, when he would leave me at like 5:30 in the morning, he would go over to her house, and then he would be with her from like 5:30, 6 a.m. to like 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon, we would see each other again. We would hang out with each other for like hours, and then he would go back to her, and then around 9:30 to the clock when my mom goes to sleep, then he would come back and be with me for the night. Like that was pretty much our daily schedule. And now that I think about it, it made me wonder, where did his other girlfriend, where did she think that he was every night? Like, and I get during the day he could say that he was hanging out with like his homeboy or something like that, because sometimes when we would hang out in the afternoon, his homeboy would be around, so he could easily make up an excuse for that. But where did she think that he was going every single night? Child, I don't know, not my business. But anyway, moving on. So after he leaves, I get back in the bed and I go back to sleep. So some time goes by, and now we're all waking up for the day, like me, Tiara, and Imani. So when we all wake up, Imani, she asks if she can go to the bathroom. And I'm like, yeah, girl, like, you know where it is by now. Like, you can, like, just go ahead. So she walks out the room, and I assume she goes to the bathroom. So I kid you not, as soon as she walks out the room, Tiara looks at me, and she's like, "Brianna, I think Imani peed in the bed last night." And I'm like, "Why you say that?" And she's like, "Because the blanket is wet." And I'm like, she peed in the bed? Like, I don't know. Maybe she has something, like, maybe she has something to drink and she spilled it on the blanket. Like, I don't know. But I just did not think that this girl peed in the bed. And the reason why I say that is because, like, so me and Tiara were both 16. Malik was, maybe like either 18 or older. Like I knew that he was no longer in high school, so he had to be at least over 18, right? So if that's all of our ages, I know for a fact that Imani was younger than us. So Imani was at least like 15, maybe 14, right? And there was nothing in me that would think that this girl at her big age was peeing in the bed. Like, there's no way. So that's what I told Tiara. So Tiara was like, do you think I should say something to her? And I'm like, no, because if she did, pee in the bed, like, she'll probably be embarrassed by it. Like, this is her first full day, like, hanging around us. You feel me? Like, you wouldn't want to make her feel uncomfortable, basically. So shortly after we finish our conversation, Imani comes back into the room. So Imani comes in the room, we change the subject, or at least I thought, because then Tiara, I told this girl not to say nothing, but Tiara looked straight at Imani and she was like, did you pee in the bed last night? And and I'm looking like, because I told this girl not to say nothing. But anyway, Imani looks at her and she's like, no. And then Tiara was like, well, the blanket's wet. And I know that it wasn't me. So, and then Imani, she was like, no, like, I had, sorry, I get ahead of myself. This is what she says. And this should have been a red flag. But this is exactly what Imani says. She goes, no, but I had some Mountain Dew and I think I spilled it on the bed though. Like, that's it. But like, I wouldn't pee in the bed or nothing like that. And then Tiara was like, oh. She was like, oh, okay. And then that was it. And the reason why I say that should have been a red flag, because why would you automatically go to Mountain Dew? Like, why would you say, like, unless this has happened to you before, because you are in fact peeing in the bed, why would you in your mind say, oh, I'm going to tell this girl it's Mountain Dew? Anyway, I digress. So some time goes on. It gets to like later in the afternoon and we decide that we're going to go to the park. So where I live, there was like this big park, like literally right next to the crib. So me, Tiara, and Imani, we go over to the park. So we're over at the park. We're sitting at the picnic table. We're chilling and stuff like that. So Malik comes up like he always does. He's sitting at the picnic table with us and he starts rolling up. So now we're all laughing, kicking it, chilling, like everybody's having a good time. He's playing music, like, we're all chilling. So some time goes by, right? So some time goes on and this is pretty much our routine every single day, right? Every day it's the same thing. We really don't do anything different. Now, the only thing that would be different sometimes is that, so I don't know if I mentioned this before, but so Tiara's grandmother lived down the street from me. So even though Tiara was staying with me for the summer, most of the time she wouldn't keep like her clothes or anything like that. Like if she was spending the night, then obviously she would bring some clothes to like, so she could take a shower, change into and stuff like that. But she wasn't bringing like suitcases full of clothes, right? Majority of her clothes would be at her grandmother's house. So sometimes during the day or like during the afternoon, instead of kicking it at the park, we would just walk like to her grandmother's house. We would chill there. We would eat, stuff like that, right? Until we figured out what the day's activities were going to be. So, and also, so sometimes Imani would not hang out with us. Like for the first couple of days, she would hang out with us. But then, like, I guess you could say once she got comfortable with the area, Imani, she would be off like doing her own thing. But like I said, like if my mom goes to sleep at like 9:30, 10 o'clock every night, then Imani made sure that she was in the house about like 8:30, 9 o'clock type of thing. So, and honestly, I didn't really ask where Imani was going because, I mean, that's not my business. Like, so whenever she would leave and be gone for hours at a time, that, like, I was never like, oh, so where are you going when you leave? Like, what are you doing when you leave? Like, I'm not finna do all of that. Like, that's too much. Like, that's doing too much at that point. Now, if it was Tiara, because that's my friend, like, you feel me? I'm gonna ask her, like, where you be at all the time, like, type of thing, right? So, oh, and I also forgot to mention, so in addition to that first night, when Tiara mentioned that she felt like Imani was peeing in the bed because the blanket was wet, right? So the second night that we all had woke up, no, sorry, the second morning that we all had woke up, Tiara had noticed that the blanket was wet again. And at that point, she had developed a theory in her mind that Imani was for sure peeing in the bed. She was not fucking spilling Mountain Dew. She wasn't spilling Mountain Dews on the blanket. Like, this girl was pissing in the bed. So after the second morning of that, Tiara was like that she did not want to sleep next to Imani anymore, and I can't blame her, because I wouldn't want to sleep next to anybody that was like peeing in the bed, because then that means that pee is gonna get on me. Like, I don't want nobody's pee on me. Like, I don't even be wanting my pee on me. Like, you get what I'm saying? So I didn't fault Tiara for that, right? So now it's getting to the point where they are each, like, they're sleeping, how do I explain it? So they're sleeping separately. So if this is Imani and this is Tiara, right? So before the whole peeing in the bed incident, they were sleeping like this, and now they're sleeping like this. You feel me? They each have their own palette that they each made, and that was that. And then it kind of started getting to the point where, I don't want to say that Tiara seemed like she was kind of fed up with Imani, but it was pretty clear that me and Tiara were the best of friends. Like, we were hanging out all the time, and that Imani was just there sometimes, not really there, right? Like, it was pretty clear that Tiara wasn't really making any effort to pull Imani into our friend group. Like, that was very clear. And it seemed as though Imani didn't care too much to be in our friend group either. Like, she just needed somewhere to stay. So that's basically how the dynamic was. So one night, I'm asleep, right? All of us are asleep. Me, Malik, Tiara, and Imani. We're all asleep. So I wake up out of my sleep, and I'm laying there with my eyes closed. So I'm just laying there with my eyes closed, and then I decide to pop my eyes open. So as I'm looking around the room, I look and I see Imani crawling on her hands and knees over to Malik's side of the bed. And now I'm thinking, hold on, what's going on here? So I decide to close my eyes and pretend like I'm asleep. So that's what I do, close my eyes, pretend like I'm asleep. So I hear Imani trying to wake up Malik. So he wakes up, and she was like, come downstairs with me right quick. And Malik was like, no, I'm not going downstairs with you. Like, leave me alone, go back to sleep. So then Imani says, come on, let's just go downstairs real quick. Then Malik says, no, I'm not going downstairs with you. You fucking crazy. Like, why would you ask me to go downstairs with you and my girl's right here asleep? No, leave me alone. Then Imani says, come on, let's just go real quick. She's not gonna know. Then Malik says, no, I told you to leave me alone and go back to sleep. She tries 2 more times to get him to go downstairs. But this time he ignores her. Like, he's ignoring her. Then I peek my eyes open again, and I see Imani crawling on her hands and knees back to her pallet on the floor. And now I'm thinking, like, the wheels are turning in my mind. And I'm thinking, like, this is very weird. This is very much weird. Because why would she feel so comfortable to ask him to go downstairs with her? It's pretty obvious that she wanted him to go downstairs with her because she wanted to have sex with him. That was obvious. But why would she feel comfortable enough to ask him? Like, had they messed around before in the past? Like, are they still messing around? And, you know, are they still messing around, but they're just not messing around here? You feel me? Like, that's what I was thinking. That's probably the number one thing that I was thinking, that maybe they are messing around, and they just mess around at like other places that clearly I'm not at, like when they're not around me. And that maybe he didn't want to do it because I was there. Like, I don't know. It was just so many different things that was going through my mind. So I decided to do nothing until I figure out more information. Like, I need to know what's going on. So I closed my eyes back and I went back to sleep. So 5 o'clock a.m. comes, my alarm goes off. I wake up Malik just like I usually do. Tell him, that it's time for him to go. So he gets up, we go over to the window, we kiss. He says, I'll see you later. I said, okay. But this time before he leaves, he decides to say, I love you. He would rarely ever say that shit when he's leaving in the morning. And not because anything was wrong with it. He just really wouldn't say that. But I'm thinking, all right, he probably feels guilty, or maybe I don't know. Like, it was just, to me, it was weird because why would he say that? But I'm trying to play it off. Like, I need to play it off because he doesn't know that I heard what happened last night. So, of course, I say it back. I tell him that I love him too. And he says, I'll see you later. I said, okay, bye. He says, bye. He climbs out the window, goes on his merry way. I close the window back. I get back in the bed and I go to sleep. So some time goes by. And now we're all waking up for the day. So when we wake up for the day, of course, Imani goes to the bathroom like she always does when she wakes up. So before she left the room, like to go to the bathroom, Tiara was like sitting back like this. As soon as Imani walked out, Tiara popped up like this and sat straight up. And she was like, Brianna, I need to tell you something. And I'm like, what? And she was like, Imani was up last night and she was trying to wake up Malik so that he could go downstairs with her to like have sex with her, but he wouldn't do it. Like, he kept telling her no. So then I told Tiara, I was like, I know, because I was awake. Like, they thought that I was asleep, but I was awake and I heard everything. And so Tiara was like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm not going to do anything because I want to see how they act today, because I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if they messed around before. I don't know if they're still messing around. They're just not messing around here. And maybe he felt like he felt like it was out of pocket, the fact that she would ask him here. And maybe that's why he was saying no. But depending on how they act tonight after what happened last night, that's going to tell me everything I need to know. So she was like, well, shit, all right then. Imani comes back in the room. We change the subject. So some time goes by. Oh, and I'm itching to get outside for the afternoon. Like, I'm like, all right, yeah, 2 o'clock, come on. Where is you at? Like, I'm ready to go outside. So 2 o'clock comes, we go outside to the park like we always do. So we get to the park. Me, Imani, and Tiara, we are sitting at the picnic tables chilling like we usually do. Now, Imani, she wasn't really acting weird towards me. Like, from the time we woke up to the time that now that we're outside, like, she wasn't acting weird. I didn't pick up on no weird vibes or nothing like that. Like, she was pretty much acting normal the same way she had been, like, the whole time she was there. So as we're chilling at the park, sitting at the picnic tables, Malik comes up like he usually does. So he comes up, he got a speaker, his phone, and of course he got the tree, because, he finna roll up, we finna smoke, listen to music, stuff like that. Same things we usually do. So, however, this time, when Malik sits down at the picnic table and puts his arm around me, fucking Imani gets up from the picnic table, right? So she gets up and she's standing like maybe a couple of inches away, but like she's still near the picnic table. She's just not sitting down, right? So Malik doing the same thing that he usually does, being real affectionate, kissing me, telling me that he missed me, stuff like that. Now, while he's doing that, of course, I'm like reciprocating his energy, but I'm also keeping an eye on Imani, right? And it's pretty clear that she's giving off this energy that like she feels some type of way, which is very strange to me because we had all hung out on multiple different occasions, and she had never given me this type of energy. Like I never felt this energy from her before. So now I'm peeping everything. So she starts to like gives it energy like she feels some type of way. Like I can see her rolling her eyes, like all this stuff, right? But of course, I'm not saying nothing about it, but I peep it. So once Malik gets finished like rolling up and he's about to like spark it or whatever. So Imani, because like I said, she was no longer sitting with us. So Imani, she starts scrolling through her phone or doing something, and then out of nowhere she looks at me and she was like, I'm about to go, I'm gonna be back later. So then what's her name, Tiara, was like, where are you going? And she was like, oh, I'm gonna go chill with so and so. Like she said some boy's name, like, oh, I'm finna go chill with so and so. But when she said it, instead of looking at Tiara, she looks at Malik, right? And Malik, he's not even looking at her, not paying her no mind. Like he's licking the what do you call it, the swisher. He's licking the swisher, getting prepared to like, get prepared to light it, basically. So he's not really paying her no mind. He's rapping to the music, like just chilling. So so then she kind of flips her hair like this, turns around and walks off, right? And now I want to pick Malik's brain. You feel me? Because he didn't really give off too many things, like too many red flags to me when Imani was there. The only thing that he really gave off was that he no longer really cared for her like that. Like before the stuff that happened the previous night, like he was joking around with her, like, like it was always cool, good vibes, stuff like that when it came to them. But that day in particular, he barely spoke to her. He didn't acknowledge that she was even there. Like he paid the girl no mind. He'd never done that before. So now I want to pick his brain. So then I asked him, I'm like, wow, Imani was acting weird today. He was like, shit, was she? I didn't even notice. And then just lights the swisher. This guy, right? But that's not enough for me. Like, because I see you didn't notice, but that's not enough. So I decided to dig deeper. So I'm like, oh, so like, have y'all always been best friends? Or like, did y'all ever used to like talk to each other? Did y'all ever used to mess around or anything like that? And Malik, he was like, man, hell no, I ain't never touched that girl. I would never touch her. She could smell like pee. And when he said she smells like pee, Tiara starts laughing like it's the funniest thing she'd ever heard a day in her life. Like she starts, ha, 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 ha. Like this girl starts cackling like it's the funniest thing she ever heard. And I'm just sitting there. It's just sitting there looking at him. Because, I'm not really getting any type of information like I wanted to get. Like, you're not paying a girl no mind, which you paid her mind before. You're telling me that you would never talk to her because she smells like pee. Like, all of this stuff, right? But I'm like, alright, whatever. It is what it is, because at that point, me and Tiara had already decided that this girl was in fact peeing in the bed. So her smelling like pee was not nothing, like, it wasn't, him saying that she smells like pee wasn't nothing new to me, and not for Tiara. Tiara just thought it was funny. Like, I don't know why, but she just thought that shit was so funny. So, and he was also like, oh, I forgot to mention, he also was like, oh, she used to fuck this nigga, she fucked that nigga. But of course he was saying names, like, oh, this nigga, she fucked that nigga, this, that, and the third, right? And one person in particular, I'm not going to give him a name, he don't really need a name, but there's one dude in particular that she used to mess with. And somehow him and Tiara, I don't know if they were cool or what, like, I'm not sure, but he ended up telling Tiara that I guess he messed with Imani, and should I say this? Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. He ended up telling Tiara that he messed with Imani and that she, let's just say he said that she was not the cleanest. We'll say that she wasn't the cleanest, and that she just had a lot of stuff going on. Because I don't want to give too much information, like, right? Because it's just gross, and I'd rather not. Anyway, moving on. So because of what he told Tiara, Tiara brought that up to Malik. Was like, oh yeah, you know, she used to mess with so-and-so, and he said that she was dirty and she smelled like pee, and she had on a should I say this? Oh my god. It's like, no, I'm gonna say it. Fuck it. And she was like, oh, and he said that she had on a squishy pad, and she was letting him like touch her when she was on her cycle, and a whole bunch of stuff. But Tiara was spilling the beans to Malik, like spilling the beans to this nigga. So of course he's like scrunching up his face, like, ew, that girl's dirty. Like, I can't believe you would talking to me. Like, oh, I can't believe you would ever think that I would ever talk to her, or I would ever mess with somebody like that. And child, anyway. So, cause not you flipping it around on me, but whatever. So, moving on. So after that, I was just like, all right, well, clearly I didn't necessarily gain the information that I wanted. I guess I did, because he came right out and said no. So maybe I did. Maybe. I don't even know what I was looking for. But at this point, there's nothing more for me to do other than keep my eye on them. Like, I can only just keep my eye on them and make sure nothing weird is going down until I get, what's it called? Until I get proof, basically. So boom. So some time goes on, and yeah, we're doing the same things that we usually do. However, now I'm about to go out of town, right? So I'm about to go out of town, and my mom was like, now I think I was going out of town. I was going out of town for like the weekend. So I was leaving on a Friday, and I was coming back on that Monday. So my mom was like, when you're gone, I don't want none of your little friends up in here. Like, tell them they gotta find somewhere else to go until you come back. So I'm like, all right, fine. That's fine. So I ended up hitting up Malik first, and I told him that, you know, I was going out of town and I wasn't going to be back for a few days. He was like, all right, cool, no problem. And he probably said that because he could spend more time with his other girlfriend while I was gone. No, no, for real. Like, that's probably why he wasn't too worried about it. So then I hit up Tiara, and I was like, hey, I'm finna be going out of town for a few days. Like, I'll be back on Monday. But my mom said she doesn't want y'all in the house, like, while I'm gone. Tiara was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna just be at my grandma's house. Like, hit me when you come back. Cool. Then I hit up Imani. And I was like, hey, I'm finna go out of town for a few days. I'm gonna be back on Monday. And my mom said that she don't want y'all there while I'm gone. She says, okay. I'm thinking, job done, right? So I go out of town. And while I'm out of town, I get a phone call from my mom. And she was like, didn't I tell you I didn't want none of your friends up in here when you were gone? And I said, yeah, and I told them that. And then my mom was like, well, that Imani girl, she's still here. She showed up last night saying she didn't have nowhere to go. So I told her that she could stay for the night, but in the morning she had to get up and leave. And the girl's still here. So I'm like, all right, well, let me talk to her, like, let me hit her up or whatever, and, you know, get her to leave. So I got off the phone with my mom. I immediately text Imani, and I was like, hey, you know, I told you I'm gonna be out of town for a few days, and I also told you that my mom said she didn't want y'all in there. Like, she said that she was doing you a favor by letting you stay last night, but now she wants you to leave, so you have to go. She texted me, Imani texted me back and said, okay, right? So I'm thinking, all right, she finna get her stuff, excuse me, and she's finna leave. Man, I tell you what. So some time goes by, right? So a few hours go by, I get another phone call from my mom, right? But this time my mom, she was like, I don't want that girl in here no more. Like, she can't come back here. And I'm like, who? And she's like, Imani. Like, she disrespected me. She disrespected my house. And she's not allowed back in here. So I'm like, well, what did she do? And my mom was like that she peed in her clothes, right? So whatever clothes she slept in that previous night, she peed in her clothes, took off her pissy clothes, and threw them behind the dresser in my brother's room. Then she went into my room and stole some of my clothes, right? So now I'm like, oh nah, like yeah, she out of pocket. Like she's definitely out of pocket. So I get off the phone with my mom and I text Imani. And I sent her this long paragraph, like basically snapping, like saying stuff like, oh, like how broke can you be to fucking steal my clothes? Like you're fucking dirty. Like how the f you gonna pee in your clothes and then throw them behind my brother's dresser? Like yeah, this, that, and the third, basically. So she never responded back, right? She never responded back. So I think I either ended up texting Malik or I ended up calling him. I can't remember, but I was basically talking to Malik and I was telling Malik about it. And Malik was like, you know, I told you that girl was dirty. Like I told you she was pissy. Like this, that, and the third, right? Like yeah, he was like, well, do you know where she at now? I'm like, nah. Like my mom said that after she stole my clothes, she left. So he was like, all right, well, good. Like you know, she didn't need to be there no more anyway. Like I was getting sick of her ass and da 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 da. So after I'm done talking to Malik, I text Tiara. So after I got off the phone with Malik, I text Tiara. And now I'm telling Tiara about it, right? And now Tiara was like, oh, just dirty, bitches is broke. Like, how the fuck you trying to steal somebody's clothes? Blah, 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 this, that, and the third, right? So after I get off the phone with Tiara, right? Now, I did not, like, Tiara is so messy. Like, this girl's so messy. I did not think she was going to do this, but Tiara gets on social media. Excuse me. She gets on social media and she makes a post like, oh, Jesus. She makes a post like, oh, I don't know. I forgot what it said, but let's just say it said something like, it's a shame you got to be that dirty and that see the pee, you know, to pee in your clothes and to like steal somebody else's clothes, like, you know, stuff like that, right? So then I get like, I comment on the post and I'm like, yeah, that bitch is dirty, that bitch is nasty, da 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 da. Like we just going in, right? So me and Tiara are like going in the comments, like talking back and forth, right? So of course, you know, people are seeing our comments, they're seeing our posts, and now all of these people are commenting, right? So all these people are commenting on it. You know, they're like, who y'all talking about? Like, tag her, put an @ on it, like, you know, stuff like that, right? So Tiara put in the comments Imani. And then I go behind her, right? So I go behind Tiara, and let's say the girl's name on social media was Imani Johnson. So I tagged her in it, and I tagged her in it, and I put like Imani Johnson, you know, and of course I'm not gonna say that because y'all know which social media platform it was. But yeah, so after I did that, you know, now Imani is in the comments, right? So now me and Tiara were arguing with Imani in the comments, called her all type of dirty bees, pissy bees, saying she this, saying she... Because back then we used to say the word, like, we used to say jump off. We used to say jump off. We used to say... Not really thought. Like, I don't think thought was popping back then. But we used to say, like, jump off, a smut, like, stuff like that. So that's what we're calling her in the comments, like me and Tiara. So we're going on and on, right? So then one of Imani's friends, we're just going to call her Imani's friend, like she don't really need a name. So one of Imani's friends, now she gets in the comments. So she gets in the comments, and now Imani and Imani's friend, they're arguing with me and Tiara, right? So now I guess Imani gets fed up because people start clowning Imani in the comments, talking about, oh, you that old and you still peeing in the bed, like you're dirty, like you F this person, you F that person, right? Excuse me. Because Imani got around. Like, Imani was a known jump off. Like, she got around. Like, I mean, it is what it is. You feel me? So then Imani starts getting mad. And now Imani wants to fight. So she starts telling me and Tiara, like, oh, when I see y'all, it's on site, like, and y'all better not be scared. And then Imani's friend co-signed it, like, yeah, when we see y'all, we finna drag y'all down the street, like, we finna stomp y'all out, like, we finna jump y'all, we finna do this, we finna do that, right? So, you know, me and Tiara, we ain't never scared. So we telling them, like, yeah, all right, bet, it's on site. When we see y'all, it's on site. Like, for me, like, fuck that shit. So anyway, so yeah, so it's pretty clear that when we see each other, we finna fight, right? And that whole post, I think it was like maybe over 100 comments on that post, right? Not just from me, Tiara, Imani, and Imani's friend, but from like other people, because it was I don't want to say it was a very popular post, but like it was, because all of us were very much known. Like back then, all of us were very much known, especially in the neighborhood or on that side of town, shall I say, that I had stayed on. So it's like every time me and Tiara go outside, like kids in the neighborhood will be following us with like recording on their phones because they want to see a fight so freaking bad, right? But it's like every time me and Tiara, every time we would go out, we would never see Imani, and we would never see Imani's friend, because after that day of when like she stole my clothes and all of that, she left and she never came back. So we didn't even know where she was. We just assumed that she was still somewhere like in the immediate area. So one day, Monday, Tiara was like that she wanted to go to her grandmother's house. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we start walking down the street to go to her grandma's house. So there's multiple different ways that you could take. Now, the way that we would usually take, it's just a straight shot down the street. And then like you would get to a park, and then her grandmother's house was on the other side of that park. And usually we would take that day. But for some reason, this day in particular, Tiara, she wanted to go a different way. Like she wanted to basically cut down the side street and then like go straight and then cross the street. Like not cross the street, but cross the park. Like walk inside of the park, cross the park, and then get to her grandma's house. So we decided to do that. So as we're walking down like the second street, right? So we're walking, we're talking and stuff like that, right? So it's like on this street, there's houses on this side and there's houses on this side. So we're walking on the left side of the street. So as we're walking, out of nowhere, these little puppy dogs start running over to us. So I'm like, oh, look at the little puppies. They're so cute. You know, so I bend down and I start, petting the puppy and stuff like that. So then Tiara was like, girl, where the fuck these dogs come from? And I'm like, shit, I don't know. So now Tiara's looking around. Like me and Tiara are looking around. Now, we were standing in front of a house as we're walking down the street. So I look over towards the house and I see that the door is open. So they had a glass door and then they had like the main door. The main door. So I look and I see that the glass door is kind of open a little bit and there's somebody standing in between the glass door and the main door. So and I'm looking, trying to see who it is, right? And then I see somebody stick their head out to like kind of call the puppies back into the house, because there was like multiple, I think maybe 4 or 5 of them. There was some that were in the yard, and then there was one by the tree, and then there was like another one that I was like petting. So once they peek their head out, I see that it's Imani, right? So I stand up, right? So when I stand up, I look over at her and me and her make eye contact. So then Tiara sees her too. So then Tiara, she's like, oh, come outside. You said it was on site. Well, we right here. So come on, come outside. And I kid you not. Imani grabbed those puppies, walked back in the house and shut the door. I kid you not. So, of course me, I start laughing. I'm like, oh, bitches is scary. Like, you was popping all that shit online, and now that we're here, like, you scary. You trying to run in the house, and here go Tiara, like, oh, bitches is scared. Like, all this shit, right? We were some crazy teenagers. Anyway, so there was still another dog. Like the dog that I was petting, that dog was still outside. So then Tiara, she was like, come get your dog. Oh, you scared to come outside, huh? So, what's her name? Imani, like once Tiara started saying something about the dog, that's when Imani like opened the door again, right? She opened the door again. And then she kind of looked out and seen that the dog was still near us. So then she looked at the dog, looked at us, and then went back in the house and shut the door again. So I'm like, come on, Tiara, like, she ain't trying to fight. Like, she clearly not trying to fight. Like, this girl's scared. So Tiara, she was like, yeah, I should steal this fucking dog. And I'm like, girl, leave that dog, like, leave that dog alone. Like, what you finna do with somebody's puppy? Like, be for real. So me and Tiara, we ended up leaving and we ended up going to her grandma's house, right? And of course, that was like the highlight of our day, right? That was the highlight. So some time goes by, like maybe like a week or so goes by, and one day I'm hanging out with one of my other friends that stay in the neighborhood, same neighborhood that we all stay in. So now Tiara is not with me this day, so I'm hanging out with my friend. You know, all the kids are like riding bikes, hula hooping, you know, riding freaking skateboards and stuff that kids do. So we're all outside in the middle of the street, just chilling, right? Now, all of a sudden, I see two girls walking up, right? I see two girls walking up. So they walk over to another girl that was standing outside. Now, one of the girls is Imani's friend that was talking crap in the comments. One of those girls is her. The other two girls, I didn't know. So me and Imani's friend, we make eye contact. So we make eye contact. She whispers something in the ear of, not the girl that she came with, but the other girl. Like, she whispers something in her ear. And then all three of them, they all turn around and walk in a different direction. So I was thinking to myself, like, all right, yeah, clearly she don't want to fight neither. Because what happened to when you see me, you were going to drag me and it was on sight. Now look at you, going the other way, right? So, yeah. So after that, I never saw Imani ever again. Her friend, I did see her friend again. Matter of fact, I ended up seeing her friend on social media. Yeah, I ended up seeing her friend on social media like years later. But after that, I never saw Imani again. Now, Imani's name did come up years later, and we'll probably, yeah, you know what, we'll get into that in another story time. But her name ended up coming up years later. Never saw her again after that. From what Tiara told me, Tiara pretty much ended up telling me sometime later that she ended up finding out, like Tiara ended up finding out the real reason why she got kicked out of her people's house. So she was like that she was living with her mom in Baltimore and she didn't move down there for the summer, that she basically was going to be living there. So something happened. Something happened where she had got caught messing with her mom's boyfriend, and her mom ended up kicking her out. So when she got kicked out, she came to stay in that hometown where we were staying. She came to live there with her dad. Her dad ended up kicking her out because she didn't want to follow the rules. Like, from what we were told, or for what Tiara was told and what Tiara told me, she wanted to be out all the time, be around boys, have boys in the house, all this stuff like that. And her dad wasn't going for that. So he ended up kicking her out, and that's why she ended up sleeping on, like, you know, sleeping outside, sleeping at the park and stuff like that. So, yeah, me and Malik, we stayed together, and yeah, that was that. So this is the end of this story time. Make sure you stay tuned for the next video that I'm gonna drop whenever that's gonna be, whatever that's gonna be, because I don't know right now. But yeah, so thank you for staying to the end of this video. You see how quickly I lose my train of thought. But anyway, thank you for staying to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for clicking on this video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.